Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to the Little Reader's house. I'm the Little Reader, also known as Amanda, and you, my sweet friend, you're in my house, alongside this beautiful mookaite crystal. Oh look, ring light reflection. Hello, ring light. This mookaite crystal egg. Gaze upon the perfection. Gaze upon the beauty. Look at that stripe. It's a symbol of fertility. It's a symbol of secretism. It's a single, well, hey, you said it, universe, not me. No, it's a symbol of birth, or potentially rebirth, creation, potential. Just so much in the egg shape. I love it. I love the symbolism of that shape. I also used to raise chickens. And there's something about seeing chicken eggs occur in reality rather than just on the shelf of a grocery store that moves you deep inside. And on that very note, beautiful soul, it's story time with the Little Reader. So if you know anything about our story times, you know there will be voices and there will be a lot of emotions probably, and we like to go deep. So it's not a specific story, it's more of a broad essence of a series of events, which based on the title you already know the topic. So grab thyself a water, a cozy surface, or if it's hot, maybe a hammock, something airy, something thirst quenching, and prepare to receive story time. Here we go. I don't want to spoil the movie The Sixth Sense, so we're just going to hop off that. Even though at this stage in human history 2024, if you were going to see it, you probably would have by now, but that's all right. We'll hop off. Segueing forward aggressively, I hear dead people. Hopefully that wasn't a spoiler. I hear dead people. Unlike some of my psychic counterparts who see dead people, they are clairvoyant. They actually witness almost a third-dimensional figure. That is not me. I've never been very voyant. I can perceive to such a degree that things begin to take visual shape, and I've seen silhouettes and colors, shapes, but primarily for the Little Reader, the psychic senses come in the form of audience. No, not like this, beautiful soul, although thank you. Clairaudience and clairsentience and knowing and claircognizance, even further, of like intellectual downloads, emotional downloads. In terms of the dead, I have been chit-chatting with them for as long as I can remember, even prior to realizing that I was communing with the dearly departed. There are many different forms that a soul can take on the other side. And the duration of human measured time that they spend in this liminal space between the material, the manifest as we know it, and the all that is, can vary from soul to soul. This means that some souls enter that space while still attached to breathing, living forms. Other souls enter that liminal space before they go to the all that is. Other souls still leave an echo, particularly if many human consciousnesses shined on that soul when they were incarnated in a specific form. For example, celebrities, very important persons, artists, politicians, You name it. So it's a variety of souls that live in this space, and depending on the individual who's channeling them and the soul that's being channeled, it may be varying results if you attempted to make contact with a specific person, for example. But every soul leaves on the Akashic records, if you will, an imprint, a mark. And that imprint of a particular incarnation that they took at this time is accessible to all. The types of souls that I've encountered has been everything from recently departed individuals within 24 hours of their passing to individuals who have been dead for many, many years, even centuries, even thousands of years. I wish I knew the word for that, but I don't. Is that millennia? Someone help a friend out. Sometimes the channeling is accidental. One time I was in the shower, and it's over there, by the way. That's why I gestured in that direction. And a soul just started ranting about how they were going to leave this earth and how it was all over and they were just done with it. And there was a lot of kind of vitriol and rage in that. And I was like, whoa, okay. I continued my shower and went about my business, and then discovered that this had been a prominent person of note. I had known that this individual had been in a accident, but wasn't aware that it was life-threatening. And their passing was announced the following morning, I believe. So sometimes the souls are just loud in the ether, and a sensitive picks it up. No big deal. Just like hearing a neighbor screaming in the next house. Yeah, now I'm pointing that way. Yes, I share a wall with a neighbor. They don't scream though. But it is like hearing someone in the neighborhood being loud, and it's not always intellectually seemingly relevant. But it's an interesting phenomenon nonetheless. I've also reached out intentionally to souls who have passed, for people who have asked for messages, or for my own curiosity. Indeed, I have reached out to people for my own curiosity and have also opened myself up to receive information from past souls. And what I want to share today, because there are so many stories that we could be here all day, but I want to whittle it down to something that Spirit wanted me to share with you, beautiful soul, that is a common theme across all of the departed souls. And it's what they all say to the living. What the dead all say to the living in their own special way. First, it's that they all find peace. All of them. And I know that that can be disappointing, depending on the incarnated form that the soul took. Because sometimes our patterning, if it was wounded by the patterning of another form, desires retribution, desires revenge, desires a so-called balancing of the scales. But it is the divine that balances the scales. And ultimately, every persona, every identity will be forfeited at the doors. And in that liminal space, a soul can maintain aspects of their physical personality, their physical form, particularly if it's a fresh passing, or a very celebrated incarnation with thousands of eyes and consciousnesses shining light on it to sustain it. But ultimately, all souls will shed the incarnation, and the scales of justice will be balanced. All souls will know themselves, their personality, as temporal, and all souls will be made aware in a compassionate and loving way of the totality of their ripple. But the thing is, the divine is no judge, and this flies in the face of so much, I know, and perhaps there's room for another transmission on that in the future. If you're interested in something like exploring hell or exploring Judgment Day, let me know. But in terms of this transmission today, the divine is no judge. The divine sees the light of consciousness that animates all of our forms, that is our true identity, as pure, perfect, redeemed, glorious. So it collects and embraces it all with big kisses. Interestingly, and this boggles the human mind at this current stage of our consciousness's evolution, Spirit also sees our patterns as beautiful, perfect, and redeemed, and even our destructive tendencies as perfect and redeemed. There is nothing that the divine rejects about anything. The divine is all. All is the divine. Yeah. So, the souls pass peacefully. And the souls reach an awareness of their ripple. And the souls see how small their patterning was, and how small their hurt was. But the thing that all souls that I've spoken with, and there has been dialogue with varying degrees of entertainment value between me and the departed, the thing they all realize and all push onto me lovingly is a recognition of the illusory nature of fear. The illusory nature of fear. When a soul reaches the disembodied state before shining back into the light, blasting back into oneness, or into a higher level of consciousness than it possessed here on earth, it has now accomplished the highest human achievement, which is death. That is, according to Spirit in this moment, the highest human achievement. I've never heard it put that way, but thank you. When a soul passes through that achievement, which is, interestingly, probably the greatest human fear when we're incarnated, that soul realizes that death was always lurking in their patterning as a limit. And this is such a fancy way, thank you, Spirit, so poetic, so autistic, such a fancy way of saying that the greatest human limit, according to the dead, is the fear of death. But it's watered down into so many other things, and it isn't rational. It isn't rational at all. So it's not like daredevils who are doing backflips off of questionable bridges 160 feet above shallow riverbeds. It's not like saying those people aren't afraid of death. They could, in fact, be incredibly afraid of death. According to the dead, putting our lives in danger and depriving ourselves of love is our way of resisting and running away from our eventual demise. Somehow human patterns perceive love and self-care. I don't just mean a foot massage and a mani-pedi. I mean self-care like grief work, meditation, speaking your truth, relentlessly hunting your dreams down and eating them for breakfast. That's what I mean by self-love and self-care. Human patterns seem to perceive love and self-care as dangerous, close to death. And the dead know that there is this link between love and death, because the dead know once they die that they're one and the same. What? But yes, so it is. Love and death are one and the same, because to love means to surrender. To love means to let go. To love means to allow. You may change what you are capable of changing. Remove yourself from an environment. Remove yourself from the company of a person, from a job, from a state, either of being or of living. But you are allowing reality to be as it is. That's love. Acknowledging the truth of circumstances, of life. So that you are capable of making a change. That's only possible once you've extended loving awareness to the moment that wants to be seen. This magic moment, the present moment before you. The dead are fearless because they've faced the ultimate. So when they come to little Amanda, or when little Amanda comes to them, they say things like, breathe deeper. Don't take a single breath for granted. They say things like, be honest. They say things like, love madly. Take the chance. Risk, not in the name of suffering and self-harm, in the name of love, passion. And circling back to daredevils, they can dare in the direction of passion and love too. It's not all a form of self-harm. And it's not all motivated by fear. We can't ever look at anyone else and know their motivations truly. Oftentimes, we can't even know our own. But what if that wasn't required? What if we didn't need to know intellectually our psychology in order to find bliss and peace? What if we didn't require more information? This is another piece of wisdom from the dead. I've never spoken with a dead individual, even the philosophers and intellectuals with whom I like to, as you can imagine, pick their brains. Probably not the best use of that turn of phrase. Pick their etheric brains. Never have they said to me, gain more information. And I am the type, beautiful soul, at least formerly, my patterning is wired to know more. The secrets. I want the secrets. Gosh, give me the secrets, my precious. That is the little reader. And yet, the dead, upon true needling, I can think of a particular instance in which this individual turned to me, as only the dead can do, after sharing some wisdom and telling me that if I continue to converse with a ghost, then I myself am dead already. Thanks. Yeah, that was a rough one. The hunt for knowledge, for answers, is more resistance to the present moment. It's more pushing away the divinity that's here right now and running into the mental realm and being absorbed by the caverns and the hungry entity of the mental realm than living. The dead don't counsel us to read harder, study harder, think more. The dead counsel us to run outside naked, to build with joy community, to take our hearts and press them up against others' hearts, not by actually extracting them from the physical form. Intimacy. The dead counsel us to look into the eyes of another person. Anyone who will really look, and share love, share awe at the phenomenal fact that we are experiencing this dimension, this time, this incarnation together. Holy shit. The dead counsel us to be liberated, to laugh, to not take it all so seriously. And if you spend enough time talking to the dead, take it from an expert, dearie. They tell you you're basically already dead. How can I explain that in a way that gets across its meaning? It's not about time, necessarily. It's about the fact that a fearless version of you already exists. Essentially, your essence, your white light of consciousness that we're always referring to around here in the house, exists outside of death. So if you're interested in tapping into your most fearless state, you can do so. You can tap into the version of yourself that's already dead. It's right here, center of the chest. Ironically, it's animating your life right now, but it won't be forever. And yet, it will continue to exist. So, the dead, in this really circuitous and elegant way, tell me that there is nothing you can't do, and that you have everything you need right here, right now, to experience divine peace, divine bliss, and as a result, the droplet of inspiration that your body, mind, and heart require to behave divinely on this planet. It can't be intellectualized. Hardly can it be educated. It can only be experienced firsthand. And that's probably why that one told me to stop searching and start living while you can. We have the greatest gift. And 99.9999 times out of 10, and I get it. Wait, not 99.9 times out of 10. What am I even saying? Oh yeah, that is right, actually. I don't do math. Most of the time, it doesn't feel like a gift. It feels like a steamer. Right there. No offense to you, beautiful Crystal. But life, recently, for much of the collective, feels more like a pain in the arse than a gift, no matter where you are socioeconomically, or no matter how privileged you are, no matter how you look. For most, right now, it feels like turds. The dead are here to provide a little bit of a perspective shift. And say, it will be over before you know it. Whether you're having a good day or a bad day, that's the mind just throwing judgments at it. It's a gift you have in front of you now. Oh, beautiful gift, a perfect gift, a gift you can't mess up. And the dead aren't trying to say, they're not life coaches over there. They're not saying, pick it up, grab your bootstraps and chip her on up. No, they know what it's like to be in the human form. At least many of the ones I speak to. It's more like this. Even when you're having the worst day, the most apathetic experience, even when you're feeling overwhelmed and your mind is on the verge of a breakdown, know that everything's taken care of. The entire world's axis does not rely on you. The less performative and more honest you can be, the more beautiful you'll feel. And that the safety and joy and bliss and peace of death, ironically, is assured. It's not a race. There's no rush. Your only task is to love yourself. The rest is handled. That's our word from the dead. Beautiful soul. And that's where we're leaving it today. Thank you so much for tuning in, for enjoying the house, enjoying the story, enjoying this little egg. And look, ring light. And until we meet again, I'm sending you all the love I've got. Always more, never less, because you are so very worthy of it. Take it from me and 1,000 more. Bye for now. Can't crack this one. But I guess a mystery is always good, beautiful soul. Can't crack them all. Don't need to. And hey, you're still here. Thanks for that. What made you stick around? How's your heart? How's your soul? What are you feeling right here, center of the chest? Got a hair on my lip. Now it's gone. This little segment is reserved for advertising. So if that doesn't floateth your boateth, darling, then I'll see you in the next transmission with all my love. But if you're still here and you're kind of curious, well then, let me tell you what's going on. I'm the little reader, also known as Amanda, recently diving into the realm of one-on-one connecting with the divine. It's new territory, but it is where my heart's been called. If that's something that's interesting to you, I've got options, beautiful soul. I've got a single one-on-one session that you and I can share, or I have 8 sessions in a month built on a trajectory to help you form a practice. And we may tune in just like this and sit in silence, feel into it, meditate, or we may dialogue, we may monologue, we may create a system, create a practice, bust out some readings, do some Reiki, prophesy, release, speak to those who want to be spoken to or speak through. Any number of things could happen, beautiful soul. But if you stuck around this long and you're interested in a one-on-one exchange with me, the little reader, then my website is right down there waiting for you. I've got those 2 offerings available right now, and they may be just what you're looking for to expand, to ground, to activate, but most importantly, to help yourself remember just why you are so very worthy of love. Once you know that, you don't need a single session more. So, if that's something that interests you, write down there below. And until we meet again, my sweet friend, I'm sending you all the love I got.